And audio should be good. Can folks in the stream hear us?
Gang, gang, gang. Gang, gang, gang.
There we go. Yeah, so Mike, your avatar's working, my avatar's working. Hopefully we'll get Nick's avatar working at some point. But
hell yes, we're back, baby. Podcasting.
Different way of seeing this stuff. But yeah, welcome back to MUME Podcast, guys. I know it's been a minute. I'm shocked we've got anyone here in the stream. But we missed y'all. Definitely missed both you guys, Mike and Nick. But
hello, everyone.
Yeah, Mike actually basically hit us up with the Discord a couple days ago. He's like, guys, I've got the itch. And we're like, dude, let's do it. So
you know what happened? I went to go see Oppenheimer, and I was like, this is exactly what it feels like to record a good podcast episode. It's like you just, when you're really good at something, you got to just do it. You got to, no matter what the.
So what you're saying is you saw the MUME podcast in Oppenheimer, like
I felt it. Some memory? Felt it. Yeah. I felt like deep sort of, species altering kind of significance and purpose. So I was like, I got to get back on podcasting. Yeah. So
I also,
it's an awesome movie, by the way. It's a fantastic movie.
Also saw Oppenheimer. I can't say that's exactly what I saw in it, but hey, you know what? That's art. Everyone sees their own thing.
I haven't seen it yet, but I should. It sounds really cool.
You'll be the tiebreaker, Nick. If you feel like if it makes you feel the same way you feel when you record a good podcast episode, then we can outvote Peter and make it happen. But here we are, back at it, baby. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. So let's see. Well, who we got in the chat right here? We got. I gotta remember how to freaking do this. We got a couple people. We got Zyle in here, Nuzo, NSF665, Kata, and 01 Ella. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome. I guess we'll start off by going over some news posts. I think that would be
Actually, you know what we never did? We never gave the review of the live orchestra that we went to go see. The live Lord of the Rings orchestra.
Oh shit, you're right. You're right.
We never shared that.
We just posted that vid and then pieced out pretty much.
So coming to you live 6 months late, coming to you live.
It had time to ferment, you know?
Yeah. But it was awesome. So for anyone listening, we all went to New York. We went to Manhattan. We stayed in the West Village, and we went to go see the Lord of the Rings live orchestra. So we saw Fellowship of the Ring with a live orchestra playing in Radio City Music Hall, playing the entire score along with the movie, and it was incredible.
It was
Right?
honestly, it was a
thought
little
was
surreal.
incredible.
I'm
Absolutely
not gonna lie,
incredible.
it was a little surreal. Like you just, it's one of those experiences that you always see, like you'll see like a banner for or a flyer for. You're like, that would never be me, and then you're there and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
The orchestra
And
was amazing.
It was. And the crazy thing to me is so what wait, let me see, Radio City Music Hall, how many capacity? How many people fit in that place?
It was packed.
6,000. It was it was a sold out show, 6,000 people. And I swear to God, I think I was the least passionate Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah, dude, there were some nerds there, like in a good way.
The people behind us were great. You know, they were just talking about
Dude,
it, and you know, and they seemed like they were younger than us, which made me happy. You know, because it's like the younger generation.
I'm pretty sure the people behind us were a little wrecked. Like they were into it, man.
They were yeah, everything. I mean, of course, like when like Legolas first comes on screen, all the girls cheer. When Aragorn first comes on screen, everybody cheers. But just like every little thing, like when they introduced Bill the pony, everybody cheered.
Yes.
Like every
And every
single
time-
yeah.
And every time Sean Bean opens his mouth, everyone laughs.
Yeah. I mean, it was just nonstop. They were just everybody was just howling, just like completely losing their shit.
People were like
Because,
quoting along too with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, he goes, one does not simply walk into Mordor, and the entire place erupted in applause.
So it was amazing. It completely rewired my brain about Lord of the Rings, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Absolutely. Although the only negative is that after watching that, I kind of was okay with the Rings of Power series, but after that, I just it kind of it revitalized what like Lord of the Rings was about, and I'm like, oh man, that just ruined that series for me. So. But no, it was a fantastic experience. If anyone has the opportunity, like if they're ever playing like Lord of the Rings in theaters again, or again you get an opportunity to go and see the orchestra, wow, that was like a core life memory right there. Absolutely.
It was really cool, and to me, it's like probably because of MUME, Lord of the Rings is like it's like kind of like a private corner of my brain, you know. It's like, but I guess I was not very open to a lot of I was not very connected to like the Lord of the Rings mainstream, and the fact that like there's literally hundreds of millions and possibly a couple billion people on the planet for whom it's like a pretty very significant personal thing like that had just not been off my radar. And then to be there and to just, and by the way, I didn't mention it was every single human being from every walk of life. Like it was an incredibly diverse crowd. It was a perfect like any human being you can imagine was represented there in some way. All ages, families, crazy like party kids. Like it was just like a very like true kind of New York slice of the human race, and they all completely lost their shit about the first time Gollum came on the screen. So it was very powerful, and it really kind of like makes you connect to Lord of the Rings. So it's cool. So definitely do that. If you see Lord of the Rings Orchestra anywhere, do it.
I feel like the Lord of the Rings fan base in general is a little bit more low key than a lot of other fan bases. Like, you know, everyone knows about the Star Wars fan base. You know, people can't shut up about it. But Lord of the Rings is one of those things where you would talk to someone and they're like, yeah, by the way, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. You're like, wow, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, they don't have to make it part of their identity. It's not like a Harry Potter thing where it's like, I like Harry Potter. Harry Potter. That makes me think of Harry Potter. It was like, you know,
no one's putting it in their Bumble profiles.
Right. Yeah. But it was awesome. Okay, let's talk about a text-based video game from the 1990s.
Perfect segue. Yeah, so we missed a lot going over the last 6 months. Taryn actually just sent a kind of a summary of all of the stuff that
I got
went
it
down.
all. Yeah, as part of my prep for the cast, I reviewed all the news posts from the past 6 months, and a ton of shit has happened. So, shout out to the people working behind the scenes, all kinds of news.
You want to take the lead and
talk about it.
read off some of this
I'll
stuff?
do it, baby. I'll do it. So I'm the very first one I'm gonna talk shit about, but the rest I'm gonna be very positive about. So this is not a rant cast. It just so happens the very first change is one that I'm like disappointed in, but many of the other ones are fantastic. So we will balance the hating with the love. Okay, so on March 30th they did a change with a change dismantle. So now, as I understand it, because I've been terrified to do it, dismantle now costs 100 gold instead of 10 gold, which I think sucks. And there's a chance that the gems might explode whenever you dismantle. So basically, they just killed the shit out of dismantle, which I do not understand how or why this happened. Like, what was the motivation? What, like, how was like fair? How was gameplay being inhibited by dismantling staves?
I want to take
being
a
able to
guess here,
fire
but I'm
gems?
someone in chat should definitely jump in here. But I'm guessing it was the heavy darky PK community complaining about some sort of overpoweredness with people changing their skills or stabs a lot, staves or stabs. I don't know. Does anyone know the actual reason?
No, I don't know, man. I would
Well,
rather
I
just
think,
give the darkies capability. Give them the cool shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
Well, I think. Who was it? Someone said they were referencing some other game and said they didn't want it to. Maybe it was Jahara or Rogan, and they said they basically didn't want it to be like this. You could just carry around all these gems and change all these slots all the time. So I don't know, but it
That was just too much fun, I guess. Or...
well, it was I remember this was a chat I think we had months ago, and I think that was the reason for it, is that it was something about
But then the thing that kind of boggles my mind is they keep releasing new gems, which is cool, but how like like they're putting in all the effort to release new gems, which I think is fantastic. I think is a really cool, kind of dynamic, creative flexibility to the game, but they just made it like insanely more difficult to actually take advantage or experiment with that cool functionality. So I don't know. To me this is dumb. I don't know. I'm coming out 100% anti the dismantle change. Makes no sense to me. I don't know. Yeah.
So the second one, what was after that?
Oh, also, but on the cool side, dismantle actually works on the ancient metal helmet, which is cool.
That is a change that needed to happen. Absolutely needed to happen.
That's when we found out that we couldn't do that. Yeah. Okay. Scroll down, dude. Oh, you're presenting. Sweet. Thank you, man. Scroll down to the numbered rooms one I highlighted. Yeah, this is huge. I mean, this is all day. Oh, up, right there. Yeah, right there. Dane, Nick, do you want to talk about this one? Just to change that they now send the unique and persistent room identifier for each room in GMCP.
Yeah. So I think we touched on this when we did the Manway interview, but it was something that is really exciting because it doesn't give you the actual sort of room numbers that the gods would see. It kind of it hashes it. So the original ones are hidden, but what it does is it gives you a unique identifier for every room, excluding certain random zones like Lord and Old Forest. And what that allows you to do is for client developers and mapper developers, it will eventually allow you to have the maps, the mapper or whatever, be able to stay in sync more effectively with the game, because instead of having to have this heuristic where it's looking at the description and the room name and whatnot, which could change as the gods, fix typos or whatever, regardless of, they might fix a typo, but the ID will remain the same. So that is really big for people who use mappers and whatnot, because everyone has had the experience of like you're walking along, say, Old East Road or in the fields around Oldbury, especially, they would make changes incrementally and periodically, and that would mess up your mapper. It would get out of sync. But now, once your mapper uh, has the numbers stored in the database, that will not be the case. Or at least that's the
And I
eventual
think,
goal.
Nick, correct. This is something that, like, in the past, management was opposed to doing, or
Yes, this was, yeah.
declined to do, and now they've done it, right?
Yeah, and it's understandable, but I think at this point, I mean, the heuristics that mmapper and other programs use, they're good enough sort of 99% of the time. So at this point, they might as well have something like this to support client like that awesome overlay. For me, like that was a good example of something that would have been immensely difficult to keep maintained because it would have broken every time they fix typos or whatever. But now they can just look at the room ID. I mean, ideally, eventually, you could even use this to have very lightweight mappers, like mappers that run in the browser or whatever, because now they could just run off of the room ID.
Yeah, you
and
don't
you could
need a
store
bunch of crazy shit. You don't
yeah,
need
it's
ton
a
of
lot
crazy
smaller.
legacy
It's much less.
logic. Yeah,
If all you're having to do is store data, for 30,000 room IDs and the connections to those rooms, as opposed to having to store the room names and either all of the description or a hash of the description. It's a lot less stuff that would have to be stored to make a lightweight mapper.
but so shout out, I believe Dane. It was Dane who coded this change. So shout out, like,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I myself coded a humble feature in Mapper. I don't know if anybody adventure panel in Mapper. I coded that myself, so I actually kind of got to check in some code to Mapper, which was really fun. But I got like totally zonked into it, and like, I would like stay up till 4 a.m. coding, so I had to like back off that. But it's really fun. But it's cool. I got to interact with Jahara and Dane a little bit and talking about features, and the guys are like doing a very high quality of work very consistently in the background to like make the game and keep it running. So I thought it was really cool. So I shout out Dane on that. Cool. Okay. Next, let's do the next one.
All right.
You want me to intro it, dude, or you want to intro it? Or?
Sure. So we got excess energy from Dark Oath kills now. Go to moves after health.
So you get move. You get a little bit of move. I guess that's not.
Did you not get moves before?
No, you got move regen.
Okay.
But kills filled up your HP. But now, if you're full HP and you kill something, you get moves out of that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, actually. And then I highlighted the Emyn commanders, the Durbuk, the Orc commanders in Emyn may load enchanted weapons. I'm curious, has anybody seen one? Like, is it just like, broadsword and what are the shitty weapons like?
What do you think that
wood axe?
What do you think change was targeting?
I think Zogs, dude. I think it gave Zogs, because I'm assuming they're evil chance. I don't know. I'm assuming they're evil chance. So I guess it gives Zoggers a chance to get
more reliable
enchanted weapons,
mid-level weapons.
Yeah. But my guess is it's like the shitty weapons. It's like battle.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, because most chantable weapons are not the weapons that you would really pick, unless it's like an enchanted broadsword for defense. Okay, I mean, how many broadsword wielding Zogs are out there? For the most part, you're looking at like axes, which I guess you're looking for MDAs. You're looking for black and dwarven axes. There's not a lot of chantable things. I don't know. Does anyone have examples of what is actually enchanted? Has anyone been on that Zog crusade?
Probably. I wonder if anyone's ever got one. we might still be awaiting our first enchanted weapon loot off of an Emyn commander. I don't know.
It might also be people just don't notice that. But and then of course hobbits now can get free citizenship in the Shire and Mickle Delving. Small change, but it thematically consistent. That's a good call. It's a good call.
Yeah. Okay, and then a big one, dude. To talk, have you played it all? I XP'd a Lobby is all I've done in the past few months. Have you played it all, Peter? Have you experienced the new hidden exits?
Unfortunately, I have not. Although I would love to know how they did this. So each character remembers hidden exits now permanently.
Yes.
Permanently.
And if you walk, yeah, permanently. And if you walk into a room where the hidden exit is already opened, you gain permanent knowledge of it that way too.
Oh, damn, that's really.
And you don't actually
clever.
have to open it or anything. You can even closing it if it's already closed.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you can walk into a room, and if you know there's an exit there, but say you can't pick it open, you could even try to close it, or you could try to pick it or bash it, or performing any reaction or any action on it will add it. You'll see you've discovered a new hidden exit.
So if it's broken, you automatically know it.
Yeah. And also if you scout into a room and there are exits open, secret exits open, you will learn them, I believe.
Just to answer our question from earlier, Zyle says that they load Wicked Durbook.
I can never pronounce that.
Axes, which that's not bad. That's not bad. That's
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I still think there should be like.
Are they max chanted or are they just like?
It's probably 6 OB plus 8.
You know those Durbukai enchanters. They're hard to find.
But dude, the hidden exit, it's cool because as you make a new character, you explore, you keep getting messages, you discover a new exit, and you get travel points out of it. Which I don't know. I imagine the community there's still like a constant negative obsession with travel points, but it is cool. I noticed that when I leveled up a little guy that I felt TPs came a lot easier thanks to this. I don't know if it's like dramatically changes the game, but I leveled a little guy up to like level 19 or 20, and I don't think I was ever blocked on travel points, and I didn't do anything like special to ever spam around. So it's cool, but I think it's another like kind of one of these like sacred things that I think was off limits or forbidden, or it was like undiscussed. It was like, you know, off limits to even think about, and now this like very big change has happened. So I feel like a lot actually really has changed in the game. I don't know, but it's cool. I kind of enjoyed playing through it, so it's fun.
It's a ton of quality of life changes here. So actually, I'm assuming, so Gorwoke in the chat asked, what if someone knocks on it from the other side? I'm guessing that would reveal it as well?
I don't know.
I'm guessing so. I mean, it's basically anytime you, yeah.
I could see that being really useful in like a PK environment where like, you know, you're setting up a trap and you want to give everyone in your group the name of the. Actually, that makes no sense. Never mind. What I just said made no sense. You could just tell them what the name of the door was. Anyway, yeah. Enchanted weapons will also be easier to identify as they're slightly more costly. Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I feel like they keep the drumbeat on quality of life stuff going pretty solid. So shout out.
It's useful to also point out that this does not affect doors like the one in MN or in Dol Guldur, where there's muddle where the door name changes
every time.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, those don't change. Yeah. But so this one, I want to talk about this one. This change happened in May. It looks like. So, and I'm curious if anybody on the chat can correct us on this. So, according to the news post, it says if the master, or I guess in this case the rider, if a mount has not been abandoned by the rider, and if the rider is currently in the game, by which I mean not voided, then mounts will refuse to be led or ridden, which seems to me totally insane. Like, is this not a huge cross race leak of information, right? So if I
Yeah.
understand this right, if you find a random pack horse and it 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 will not, like, it, snorts and refuses to be led or whatever, uh that means somebody in game it's still quote unquote following somebody in game,
Someone's
right?
voided, yeah.
Yeah. So is this not like, isn't that just like a crazy leak of information, right? If you find a hungry warg that, I mean, warg is not the same because you can't pukes can't lead warg,
Or like a
but
pack horse or
any,
something.
yeah,
If
but
you're a BN and you find a pack horse. I mean,
right.
it's
Is
a
this
interesting question. Maybe one of the gods can answer that. Whether this is only for same side or if this affects opposite side.
Yeah, it seems insane to me because I remember. I don't think he'll mind because he hasn't played in so long. But all-time Hall of Famer, close friend of the pod, um, Telperion. What Telperion told me, one of his tricks was, hungry wargs. I think they do not wander
Yeah.
when the player who has led them is still in game, they do not wander. But when, like, if you rent, even if you're all the way across Arda, they start wandering. So he would use that as part of his like super careful, super hyper analytical scouting and intelligence network that he one man intelligence network that he operated. He would use that, and he would carefully observe wargs, and he'd like look at a warg and then come back 5 minutes later. If it was still in the same room, he would know that that meant some orc player was still in game, kind of thing. But I'm surprised that, so basically any mount, I guess not wargs, but any other horse based mount, you can know if somebody else is in the game, which seems like, if you find black steeds won't follow you anyway, right? Yeah, black steeds will not follow pukes. But I guess anything like pack horse, trained horse, or whatever, if it refuses to ride, somebody somewhere is in game, um, having led it. So I don't know. It
This
seems crazy
is
to
so.
me,
This only says if they are currently in the void and they must be in the same room. So I think it would be a very very minute number of cases where that would ever come into play.
Yeah.
The only way I could see this really being abusable, pretty much the only way, is if you came across like a trained or a pack horse somewhere and you tried to lead it and it refused. Then you would know that probably a BN or someone voided. Usually, I feel like it would be a BN in this scenario. Would just voided somewhere random instead of camp rent did. That would be like the only case I could really imagine, because otherwise you're always out of the room. Or
Oh, okay.
it doesn't
Maybe I'm
really matter
totally
because you're like sitting in
Okay.
3 or something. So
Okay, maybe I'm totally misunderstanding this. Okay.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. This
Okay.
Yeah. I guess a lot of people probably aren't sitting there voiding out in the open in dangerous places anyway. I mean, if they do, then, I mean, I don't know.
But does link rent count? Link rent does not count as void, right? Because you're disconnected, not void.
Yeah, Link Rend is not void.
Okay.
Void,
So
you're
maybe it's
actually
not-
transported to a different room in kind of in Valinor. You're kind of teleported there, and then you're teleported back when you return, as far as I know.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, maybe I misunderstood that. Okay. Well, good. Okay.
you didn't have this change actually highlighted, but this is kind of cool. You can now view areas that you've traveled by using the command map global travel to know where to explore. That's a cool little thing right there. Kind of gives you like a fog of war ish type deal. It just adds in that, especially for newbies. Like, wait, where was that? So I like that.
No, I think it is really cool. I don't know if the game has done enough to make that information accessible to newbies. Like, I feel like the discoverability, the likelihood that a newbie's ever going to figure that out on their own, I think is super low. But the infrastructure,
Yeah.
the fact that all that information is there is amazing. That's what I keep going. This actually was what inspired my adventure panel feature, was when I had a dwarf and you log in, and before you picked like your dwarven house, like Firebeard or whatever, so every time you log in, Thorin sends you a tell, like, come see me and pick select your dwarven ancestral home or whatever.
Mhm.
And it was just, I was like, man, it's so cool the idea that every time you log in, a familiar character from Lord of the Rings is reaching out to you and inviting you on an adventure.
Mhm.
And I was like, how cool would it be for newbies if every time you log in, it's like Gandalf sends you a tell. It's like, you know, you're progressing. Find your way to
Immediately sucks you
Bree.
into a
Yeah,
story.
yeah. And Elrond says, I've heard promising tales of you. Come seek me in Rivendell. Blah blah blah. Right? But just like every time you're logging in, there's like that kind of
Like the
that
urgency, you
pull.
know?
Yeah, yeah. And I so that was actually kind of the trigger for some of the stuff I coded. Um,
So,
but I think it'd be really cool if like you logged in and it says like, you know, you're finding your way, but you've not yet visited the forests of Fangorn. They might be good for your level. I don't know,
so
some shit
I
like
agree that it would be pretty difficult for a newbie to find this command. But what's the feasibility of this being, you know, a command inside a mapper where you can kind of see a visual representation of like, oh, you've been to these zones and you haven't been, like kind of a, you know, make it more accessible that way. Is that something that
I think it's non-trivial
that's a
because
non?
we
Oh, okay,
don't.
gotcha.
No, no, no. I mean, maybe we can. I mean, the there isn't any like concrete way. You know, like when you type map or map global in MUME and it kind of illustrates the little ASCII art map, you
Hmm.
know, there's no way of directly tying that. Like you'd have to parse that and then somehow like kind of with some fuzzy logic take that ASCII shape and like project it onto the mapper map and like
Gotcha,
figure out where the zones lined up. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
still
it'd be
awesome,
non-trivial.
awesome
It would
step
be.
in the
It
right
could be really
direction.
cool.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
great
And I
step in the
think,
right direction.
yeah,
So one thing, which is part of both GMCP and XML mode, which was added in either early this year or later last year, was they give you uh, the environment or area. I think in XML, I think one calls it environment, one calls it area. Anyhow, uh, but so you'll have like Brelands, you'll have ABR, you'll have Lorien. So it's not the exact zones, but it's more like this collection of zones makes up
yeah.
Lorien. And so you'll actually get that information as you move around. So uh, again, like if you are in your mapping mode or whatever, I think you'd have to ask Jahara, but I think it'll automatically update your database if you don't have that information as you go through the map. You'll get that area information part of your database. So at that point, people could use that to at least, if not get the boundaries of individual zones, they could get the boundaries of areas, the clusters of zones that make up the
Right.
big zone.
I do. I'm thinking back, man. In the '90s, if I after killing like brown bears, the same two brown bears for like the 100th time, if I logged in and I got some message like, you know, Strider tells you, come seek me, and you know, I've followed your adventures with great interest. Come seek me out in Bree. That would have blown my mind. I would have, you know,
Yeah,
I would have just completely.
MUME has suffered that problem for so long of just not knowing what the next step is, which can be a good thing in some scenarios. But yeah, giving some, especially for newbies, giving some direction of like, yeah, there's this thing going on, hop in. That would be, that's a fantastic idea.
Get in the car, bro.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see
It's
here.
a 4-door. We go to Mordor.
Yeah. Okay, so the big one, so many of the next few changes are all kind of one there's like a huge kind of overarching thematic thing,
Towers.
which is towers. And they have really, I mean, I wonder, do you know who is this Jahara doing this? I wonder who behind the scenes is driving this. I wonder. Um but as far as I don't know, Nick, have you been playing much of you? I mean, they've dramatically changed towers. So many of the towers now like they've upgraded, they've beefed up the mobs. If no faction in the war pops a tower, like smugglers or some like, you know, some different group of mobs, like I think like smugglers will take over Last Bridge Fort, and shit like that now. So they've added a different dynamic there. The Lorien outpost on the eastern side of the very, very southern extremity of the Anduin River. That is now a fort. They've actually changed those rooms. You have to remap it. It's a different kind of little mini map, mini tower area now. And if you
Oh, I didn't know
if you control that fort, I believe also you control the ferry. I don't know how it works. I don't know if like you, as soon as you pop the fort, if the ferry just like repops to your same faction or whatever. But it's like pretty significant revisit and kind of rethinking of the towers. So I don't know. I have only played a lobby. I haven't played Legend in like 6 months, so I don't know how much impact it makes on the game, or if people are using it, or I don't know. I'd be curious for any feedback that anybody might have.
So
But,
very interesting. So hidden camp pretty much will never be empty now. It looks like because it's going to pop at the very least with outlaws. I believe.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm sure there was a lot more people involved. I'm pretty sure Jahara Amago and I think Dawnborn was a little bit involved in this. I'm not sure the extent of. And I'm sure there were more people as well, but I think those are some of the big players here. Yeah, I'm sure Rogan and a bunch of the like Alunion and everyone were also involved too. So
it's a big change.
This
They've been rolling it out for months.
It's interesting. So what is there like an overarching value to having these towers yet, or is it just if you don't capture them, like a third faction is going to take it? What is the?
Well, I think there's one. It's mentioned somewhere. Is that they're supposed to pop much faster now? There it is. It's right there. There it is. At the very bottom, dude, that you have on screen right now. Fortresses that are uncontested and have only a single faction battling will now change hands faster. So I don't know. I think maybe they're kind of making a bit more capture the flag, a bit more dynamic. I don't know. I don't mean to how well it's working. I have no idea, but
yeah. So more smugglers will take over here. It looks like they beefed up Bjornies a little bit in Vale Tower, which is good. That was definitely a way weaker than their evil equivalents. The strength of Vale Tower.
It says Zogs will now occupy more towers, which is pretty cool.
That is super cool.
That is really cool.
But I wonder. I don't know. I mean, I know the player activity is still kind of low. I don't know how much like massive. I don't know how many like massive PK nights are happening, and the degree to which like if if there's like 10 versus 10 fighting kind of on an American night, like can you use these kind of new functionalities to your advantage? I honestly have no idea. I'd love to hear. But I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought it was really another sign of like people working hard and really kind of evolving the game. But the change, I know from past episodes, the change everybody wants is that the towers that have scout mobs, when you go into the same room as a scout mob, they tell you if they've seen any enemies pass by. That's the change I think would actually massively have a huge impact. Like the Orcish scouts and DT tell you if they've seen any pukes.
Yeah, like an intel network type thing.
Yeah. I think that would be huge. But not yet. We can dream.
I'm sure that they've got more stuff that they're working on with the towers too. I think this is a progressive rollout. But let's see here. We got over here some XP tweaks. So tweaks were made to the XP
limits. This is a huge one, dude. You've really been off the grid, Peter. I'm jealous.
What?
I'm jealous.
What does this mean?
No, dude. I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
The amount of XP to reach level 44 is the exact same.
Okay.
But the curve was reshaped between them. So you need much less XP per level under 26 to legend, and then you need more XP for each level between 26 and 44.
Okay.
So again, once you get to 44, absolutely nothing is nothing. It's all the exact same.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like you can almost like kind of envision like kind of like an S curve type shape. Like and so the great thing, and I actually made a lobby just to try this out, is that level 10, level 11, level 12, 13, 14 are so much faster now. It's amazing.
Nice.
Like, it's just night and day compared to the old days when you'd kill like your
That's the sticking
37
point usually.
spirit. Yeah, yeah, and you'd be like, and then it's like, next level 290k, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck
That's when you
this,
abandon your
right?
cleric.
Now you just cruise through.
Mm-hmm.
It really is nice. So I thought this was an awesome change. I don't know who it says Jahari here, but I don't know who had the idea or who, but this greatly, especially when you're XPing like a combo or some character that like won't really work until you're higher level or whatever. This like greatly smooths and really to me kind of like improves how much fun you have when you're grinding up. So I thought this was a really really nice. And nobody like you can't really talk shit about this. Like it doesn't change power. It doesn't really change being a legend at all. At 26, you're the exact same as you used to be in terms of power. You get there a little bit faster, but I think like this is a completely zero controversy, nice improvement.
Absolutely. If you're a player previously who was capable of getting to 26, then you could get to 44. It's not a
Yeah, exactly,
that's just a time
exactly.
thing versus like the stopping power of getting to that level 10 or 11 for a newbie or a lowbie when you're like, oh, hit a brick wall. I'm sure we've lost quite a few players at that brick wall. So smoothing that out sounds fantastic.
Right. I thought this was really nice. Nick, have you played much lately? Nick, what's up with you?
I have not played in 3 or 4 weeks. I was playing a little bit, sort of off and on before then, just being social and also trying to map these room IDs, get them in my own database format. And so, yeah, but I haven't played in the last month or so. But I did see that update, and I thought that was really cool.
It makes a difference. Like it honestly like I made some shitty dwarf with like high mentals and high strength but low con just to play around, and like getting from 10 to 14 was a breeze. And I was like, oh, it's almost going too fast because I wanted to get travel points for traveling. He leveled so fast I couldn't catch up. So it's fun.
So-
Dude. It's a very nicely done change.
So that includes travel points as well. Like they minimized the travel points you to get to 26 as well, or
I
It
don't know
only
that.
says XP, I think.
Yeah, I don't know that one actually.
It only says
yeah,
XP.
because XP was never the travel points were always the things I just I think the universally hated travel points, but yeah.
This might be my
yeah,
favorite
that-
change, though. The certain beds or campfires can make you, in all bold, very comfortable if you sleep on them. For
That's what it says in game, dude.
Wait,
that's the
you are
status line.
very
in-game.
comfortable.
I don't think it's very comfortable to sleep on a campfire.
Nah, dude, it just toughens you up.
I
Have you seen
mean-
those mats with like the little spikes on it? You're supposed to lie on. It's the same idea.
Yeah, but you said sleep on. So I don't know about sleeping on a campfire. Sounds painful.
You got to be tougher, man. I don't know what to tell you. You just got to.
Yeah.
Also, so Tiger Eye gems now give the same effect in the helmet as they do in the staff. That's interesting. I remember that
Tiger Eye, the regen one. What the hell?
So yeah, so Tiger Eye and a staff, depending on the race, will give either health regen or mana regen. For instance, a Hobbit, it'll give +3 mana regen. But I found out, you put it in a helmet, it gives +3 health regen, which is, if you're making a combo, terrible. So,
especially because hobbits are already plus con. So like, what's
I guess it makes kind of sense for a warrior, but then why
Bashing
the helmet?
Hobbit combo.
But that's very neat. Very neat.
But they fucked up Dismantle, dude. I'm so upset about this Dismantle change. It just, I can't get past it. I can't get past the Dismantle change.
You have a limited number of dismantles, or just costly?
No, dude, they cost a fortune and they might explode the gems. So if you have like a Corb or a Rubelite or any kind of an agate or any one of the precious like rare gems, like it's just not worth the chance. So I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I think it would be in some parallel universe, like they leaned into like embedding and gems and like shamans have some primitive, special thing they can do with the gym, and like maybe even like warriors and thieves can embed one gym into like legend weapons, and like just like it becomes a whole, or a shield, and it becomes like a whole cool like meta customization layer for the
Exactly.
whole
I think
game
that
to like but
gems right now are at the forefront of player customization. I mean, equipment wise, everyone has pretty similar equipment for the most part, but gems really let you kind of stand out a little bit. It would be great to see them lean into it more and have more options, not just for staves or whatever, but maybe you could customize your shield a little bit, and especially this should absolutely translate over to evil characters. Evil characters, I think, should be even more customizable than few characters. It makes sense with their, like, you look at Lord of the Rings in general, just thematically, all the orc equipment and evil equipment is all super customized, So, and I think everyone has a ton of fun with it. I wish that they leaned into it a little bit more instead of cutting back.
Yeah, I would have made it either increase the money, or have it like the cost every time you dismantle, it's more and more, or have a quest that you have to solve a quest in order to dismantle.
Yeah, the best part, the thing that keeps people playing together and grouping, I think, is when somebody needs something. It's like, you're on, it's like, hey, can you come help me kill Willow? Or can you help me do this? Can you help me come do this? Or even like, come help me do, can you come sank for BBT or something? So I just feel like it's like you made something for shamans, you made something for, if Zogs had a cool quest that was like hard to do, but you got to embed a gym into a shield, and then Zogs could like have access to Shroud, or have plus 5 DB or something. Like, I think it could be really cool, but I don't know.
I think we might be just going through a little bit of the players hate it when you take things away itis, though. So it's a natural part of game building. You give them something, you take it away, people get upset.
Yeah, I mean, it was originally meant to only be a temporary thing, but everyone just loved it. So, I mean, it was, because including me, like, it's one of those things where
it's just fun customizing your character.
Well, there's not a lot of avenues for crafting currently, and this is one of the few sort of avenues for light crafting. You can be able to customize your staff, and it's something I would definitely love to see more of, that sort of thing where you can definitely sort of customize your character. And
totally. And they're not reflected in the news post, but there have been, like, I think in the past 6 months, there's like 2 or 3 new gyms. There's a gym that allows you to immediately disengage with combat and walk away.
What?
I think. Yeah. There's some, it's like you use staff and it just interrupts all combat. And so you can like use staff south, and you like just instantly get out of a fight and walk south, I think.
Wow,
it's like
that's
escape.
Actually crazy.
It's an escape. Yeah, it's an
it's
instant
like the
escape
skill.
That is
so
so
cool. You
cool.
South and escape south, or do you use it south and walk south?
Oh, I don't. I think you just type use staff and then you just escape, and so then you can spam a direction, which is really cool. Like, that's a really cool, like, just that level of kind of creativity, and I'm sure like just like changing the combat mechanics is really a cool change.
Yeah, I can think of several uses for that.
Yeah. So they're doing really cool shit with it. I mean, I'm honestly surprised at the velocity and creativity of the gyms. I mean, I feel like there's been like several. There's like the one that the one that dodges. There's the one that, what is it? It returns heal. Like when you cure others, it stores up energy and then it cures you randomly. Something like that. If we have any gym expert, yeah. Okay. So Open Wire says use staff and then stroll away. Yeah. So I don't know. Well, I'll have to play around with them. I would love to play around with them, but I can't afford the 100 gold.
Are those major or minor gyms, I wonder?
I think that's
I don't know.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because I would use that if it was a minor gym, but if that's a major gym, that's
the heal gem. There's a heal gem now too. So heal gem even does remove poison on you and your target at the same time. That's kind of cool. That's really cool. Kilter says it's a minor gem for the escape one.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I can think of some.
See, this is so cool because already, then you've got like immediately you're like, I want all of them, but you can't have them, so you have to keep customizing and making this. See, that's That's so much fun. That is so much fun.
Well, I'm certainly
I
not
know,
going to
it's
do that
really
on my
fun.
main mage
Yeah.
because I have a nice loaded staff and I don't really feel like I'm lazy. Don't feel like farming citrines.
It creates a natural need to continue to collect gems and like basically turnover. It creates that turnover that you're always looking for in a game. You never want stagnant like this is max set. We're just stopping here.
Right,
you know,
right.
that is, oh my god, I'm loving it. Now I might have to play again.
I know, yeah, but dude, you have to,
Shit.
every dismantle you got to have 100 gold, and the thing might shatter. So it's like, god damn it.
Wait, so Terran still needs to acknowledge that Dismantle doesn't destroy your core if you choose to dismantle the cheap opal to try another gem. So you can target dismantles now.
I did not know that. Yeah, so our homie, the thinly disguised Gorwalk here, is saying so yeah, I don't know. Nick, keep me honest here, dude. So Gorwalk has said in chat, he says it's you can type dismantle and then the specific object. So you can like dismantle opal staff without dismantling the entire staff. I
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that's completely off my radar. So I think maybe they added that with this 100 gold change. I don't know. We should ask other people if they was anybody in the chat aware of the fact that you can just type dismantle opal staff and it will not explode the corb? I don't know. That's like the mother of all.
No, so I think it's not that it won't explode the corb. It's that since you're never targeting the corb, it's like you only have a chance to explode, as far as I'm understanding, you only have a chance to explode the thing that you're dismantling. So if you have a corb in the staff, I think what Gorboka is saying is just don't dismantle that and just take the cheap stuff out.
Yeah, but I only ever knew dismantle was like it's all or nothing.
That's what that's what it used to be for me too. I think
so. Maybe they made this crazy change, but also had this kind of this compensating measure of like specific dismantles. But I don't know. Nobody knew, but I don't know.
Okay, that's Chris. That's every time you dismantle, you have a chance to explode Terran's mind.
Yeah, Terran's mind was already exploded by how complicated.
My mind is, dude. I think all of our minds are just all over the floor at this point. That's great. Although, this is actually hold on a second. Going back to Zyle here, saying double battle clear team with healing gems could be nasty because one heal hits both. That would be pretty nice. But see, isn't this such a cool opportunity? So, like, imagine you could embed some sort of, maybe not gem, but something into like a tower shield or something that like is very warrior specific and adding this new layer of depth to warriors, you know? This seems like such an amazing idea. I would love, I hope they expand on this. I really do, because this is, it allows for so much depth in combos, but everyone agrees that kind of combos are already kind of a little too good. Wouldn't this be such a cool way to make other characters interesting that are normally considered kind of boring?
I think so. Yeah. Plus, something else that could be really cool is if they could just do temporary gems, and if they decide they want one back, they just disappear. It's no big deal. It's not like a skill where if you practice a skill and then they, like if they test out a new skill and you're a BN and you lose and they take it away and you got to go find Soric or whatever. Like it's a huge like balance prac time thing, but like try out temporary gems just for fun.
And beta
testing
have
like artifact gems.
Beta testing would be and beta testing it would be super easy too, because it's not like you're designing a character around a gem. That's not how it works, Like so you could pretty easily put it into the game and then take it out, if it's or adjust.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I think
you have all the pracs put into it or anything like you were saying.
But whatever. Gyms.
Anyway, we got a little too excited there, but no, it's really a cool idea. Got me excited. McCaldus is saying customizable gear to fine-tune your loadout would be amazing. Yeah, especially on the evil side, because there's so many cool thematic. Like you just have like some fucked up shit, like just like you strap a skull of an elf to the front of your breastplate or whatever. Oh my god. Anyway, all right, my blood got going there. I think that's all the changes, the major changes.
It is, and it's a ton of change. So shout out to management, shout out to the coders, Shout out to everybody. Think about how different MUME is now versus from when we did our first podcast episode. Was that like 15 months ago or something?
Yeah.
May of last
Wow,
year,
that was a long
16
time.
months.
That was a long
Yeah,
time.
so it's a completely different game. So shout out to everybody.
And one thing I think that we kind of lose track of here a little bit. I've been doing a little bit of research for other muds as well, specifically Two Towers muds and a couple muds on the Reddit, the mud Reddit, whatever it is. MUME really stands out from other muds in Mapper. The amount that MUME has changed in the last, I don't know, 5 years, has been pretty drastic. And when it comes to other muds, we actually do have a very unique mud here at this point. It's not just like it's another mud. Most muds, they've got a lot of them have. So Two Towers muds actually has some really cool stuff in it where they've got this web client where you can. Actually, I could probably pull it up. I'll do it another time. But you can like click on things on the screen and it'll like, oh, you clicked on that target. I'll look that way, or I'll kind of like our MUME Visio thing. But the fact that we have they all suffer from the same problem, which is that you get into game, and you realize I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. Like, I don't know where I am, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing. MUME has a huge leg up there with Mapper, just being able to solve that number one basic problem, which is where am I? And I think that's a huge turnoff for people, than not having that. But anyway, you're just talking about how much MUME changed, and it's really been for the best. Like it stands out now. It really does stand out.
Yeah, dude, I think from a quality of life standpoint, I tried to get my nerd friends into MUME back in the 90s, and they would pray to Harland, and they would like maybe have like one loaf of bread and like a torch or something, and they would go out of the town. They'd kill a duck, a pig, and then inevitably they would not have any food. Their torch or their lantern will run out, and even if they could find their way back to Harlan, which was difficult, then you have to wait like forever for the damn store to open. And I just think about like, man, how many sessions, how much playtime was impacted by like the grocery hours or store hours or whatever and all that kind of shit. Just like having food, having oil. Oh, I forgot to get lantern oil. Now I gotta wait freaking 10 minutes until the store opens and shit like that. So I think the degree to which the quality of life has been dramatically improved, but the game is still hard as shit, I think is well done.
Absolutely. Zyle says in chat, I'd love to see a warrior skill that helps your parry. Instead of splitting by 50% for each mob engaged in skill, you could lower the parry split to help you tank more mobs. That's a cool idea.
That'd be awesome.
That is a cool idea. Totally. That is a cool idea for sure. Mike, what was that idea you had a while back for? You had an idea for warriors and equipment, basically helping the equipment homogenization go away a little bit, where how everyone's running around in medals. Didn't you have an idea for that or something?
I think so. Maybe
too many ideas on this podcast. Maybe
too many ideas, too many hot takes.
Anyway, but yeah. So I haven't played in a long time. It sounds like you guys have been on a fair bit. How has the what's the newbie situation look like? What's our normal kind of player count looking like? Where are our numbers these days?
I think so. The good news is, if you actually maybe play Peter, if you just want to go to if you just Google MUME frequentation, it'll pop up. Yeah.
I think we got that frequentation here.
Yeah,
Lots, I think
it'll pop up.
I should say we are number 1 on Mudverse, which is like the new TMC.
Oh, okay.
So
the good news is, I think we kind of stabilized, or we kind of bounced a little bit. If you remember back last April, which unfortunately has fallen off the beginning of this graph, but last April, we were like down at 5. We were like all the way. We were like 40% of where we are now. So that was back in and that was, as far as I can tell, the true like bottom of the entire 30-year history of the game was last April. So
but we survived.
We survived throughout the fall. The game clawed up, right? I think the Morik orc race in particular was really good. You can see the birthday party around January 15th or whenever that was. You can see that peak. Um, and then we started falling back off. It looks to me like we've kind of stabilized a little bit. We're hovering between 10 and 15, which is more than double where we were a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're growing. I always check who newbies. Um, there's like typically like one newbie on. I always say welcome to MUME. They always say thank you, and they always go linkless.
Yeah.
I have seen a couple. I checked it. I don't check the Discord super often, but there were a couple guys. Actually, there was some, I wonder if I can find that. There was somebody in the Discord who said they were researching muds on YouTube, and they could not. The mud they were looking at didn't have any videos, but they stumbled on our videos via recommendations. And so because MUME had recent fresh YouTube content, that sort of like piqued their interest and they started playing.
Having
So
fresh content is super important. I don't know how many times. I don't know if you guys just scroll through YouTube or Twitter or everything, but anything's more than like a month old, I'm like not watching it. You know what I'm saying?
right. So I think there are like vague traces on Discord and shit of like two or three actual legitimate organic newbies who found the game and are trying it out and are pretty committed. So I think there's some blood, but I don't know. I think our overall growth funnel is pretty sad. I think we could be doing so much better. But, you know how that goes.
Yeah, we've never talked about that. So. But one thing I did want to remark on, though, I have kept up with the MUME Discord a little bit, and it went through a couple iterations of organization, and I think we started doing a kind of a moderation thing. It is really cleaned up. Like the MUME Discord is actually very well organized. I think it's pretty obvious even to new players like where to go. There's a nice little kind of newbies tab where you're like, oh yeah, I should hop in here. The gameplay tab, the war status, I think it's really. It seems weird because Discord is kind of it's separate from MUME, but the way that it's cleaned up a lot, I think it is really striking. It's not a mess anymore, and whoever has been kind of pushing that in whatever direction it's gone has really been super successful.
Yeah, it's excellent. I haven't popped in there for a few weeks now, but I'm just thinking back, like sort of this time last year, that was one of my big criticisms was, what the MUME Discord looked like then. It was not the best thing for newbies to log on and get help. And yeah, it's definitely changed. It's definitely changed for the better. And yeah, whoever's handling that, I don't know if it's Jahar or someone else. Whoever is doing that is doing a great job. It looks really good.
Yeah, and kind of going back to, I think we had this discussion like last year somewhere, but you know how ER gets. Everyone knows how ER gets, especially random runes. Like if you go hop into the Discord, I wonder if I can pull it up here and show it. That's not what I meant to do. Where's the web one? Whatever. If you hop into the Discord and you just like go to the newbies tab, like this is great discussion and it's super helpful and no one's getting super racist or cussing out their mom or like this is a nice place. I think this presents MUME in a pretty good light. So huge kudos to whoever really cleaned that up.
I agree, man. I agree.
Triggered on this. Do we know? Did whatever happened to MUME and Freyja? Are they still working on their project, or did that kind of fall off a little bit? They were doing the MUME Visio thing.
I don't know. I have not seen a ton of posts, but I've kind of been off the
radar.
Off the radar a little bit.
So since we got some community folks in here right now, over the last couple of months, what have been like some standout changes that you guys have really liked? Like just some. What have you guys really noticed? And you're like, man, this is so much better. swear to God, if everyone says Dismantle.
Deafening. Everyone's gonna be like, we love the Dismantle thing. Yeah. What else? I just
Kilter says the towers.
the towers. Yeah, I have to. Maybe I wish it'd be cool if somebody posted a log to really show off the towers. That'd be cool. I think. Or maybe that'd be good content stuff, dude. Maybe we should just log in and just like rampage towers and make a cool video out of that. That might be fun.
Explorers and Conquerors. Level changes in towers. Jahara might be biased. You know, Jahara. Honestly, Jahara's probably not biased. He's just got his hand in everything. So at this point, it's all a little bit. Him and Rogan. It's like, they did a little of everything.
I haven't experienced the towers yet, but I am excited to, because that does sound like a really cool change. Especially since you said they changed some of the rooms east of Lorien.
Yeah, so what are those elves? There's 3 unique elf mobs.
Yeah.
The heels, some.
What is the Conqueror list? I want to look this up here.
Yeah, there's.
What is this Conqueror list?
I can tell you, dude. So of course, warlords. There are now additional ranked top lists, but instead of war points, there's one for explorers, which I believe is like travel points, and there's one for conquerors, which I think is towers and maybe something else. I don't know. But so you can, the same way you can type in view warlords, you can now type in view explorers and view conquerors to see other players ranked, players, the top.
Conquerors Hall of Fame. Wait, so Conquerors are people who've taken towers?
I think so.
Dawn Reborn, Glasia, Gravy, Tarash, Spider, Zud, Rail. Wow, this is actually really dope. Also, I can't show it here because I can't type who, but the who list is kind of cool in that you can see now who's like a warlord and who's I think an explorer. Warlord.
Yeah, exactly.
Explorer Lord. That's pretty cool. I did notice that. That's pretty sweet. Gives a little bonus here. And then Explorer list. Let me view Explorer. That's not how you type Explorer. Naughty, Mnorg, Mornug, Superb. That's a great name. Ragface. Ragface is a Explorer. Wait, so is this just total TPs? Is that what it is?
I have no idea, dude. I have no idea.
Because some characters have some insane TPs.
But no, I mean, because Uga look, that's his Morik, right? So that's pretty new, right?
Help Explorers.
Like that character is definitely less than a year old by definition, so it can't be lifetime over the whole history.
Who uncover secrets in the world and expand their knowledge and number of hidden exits that they've discovered. This doesn't really tell me.
Maybe it's something to do with hidden exits or areas that you've visited.
It's determined by their activity. How will they know the word? So activity, I think that's the key word here. So if you just have a character that's got 500 million TPs, but you don't log in, maybe it doesn't count. Which makes sense. Because Ragface, for instance, is a very old character, but Ragface does hop on from time to time. But you don't see I'm sure, you got a Salazar or someone on here who's got 1.5 million. Whatever. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Or Staub. I bet Staub's the all-time top leader, I bet. Staub.
Yeah.
Oh, but Nick, yeah, real quick. So if you go east of the Anduin at the very bottom of the map, that little elf tower down there has been rebuilt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's still I think the 3 up-down rooms of the tower, I believe those are the same. But that little area is sequestered within hidden rooms now. And you have to go in a hidden room to you go through a hidden door to reach a little courtyard, and the tower is off of that courtyard there. So you have to remap. There's probably 10 total rooms you need to remap. But it's like a little, call and open guarded tower kind of thing.
Cool.
And that'd be cool. I would be interested to pop that. I wonder what kind of orc mobs inhabit that when you pop it. I wonder.
By the way, I will say that I think one of the so we haven't played with the towers yet, but that is one of the things that excites me probably the most that I've heard today. Because one problem, especially for veteran players, which I don't think are necessarily always the target audience here. We should really begin those news. But one thing especially for veteran players that makes it tough to keep going sometimes is kind of the we like to expand the breadth of the game a lot, but not so much the depth. And in a lot of ways, MUME is a super in-depth game, especially with the leveling system and combat and stuff. But there's only a couple ways to play the game. So adding in kind of new, it sounds like this is turning into a little bit of a capture the flag type scenario. Adding a new play style in there, that's actually super exciting. And that kind of, it gets me, at least me, going. And I'd love to explore that a little bit versus kind of, just expanding out horizontally instead of vertically. Just a little thing.
Dude, I wonder, imagine if like you're going to go into Moria and you're like, let's go pop the Lorien Tower first. So you pop that tower and then you're in Moria, and like if the mobs at that tower see enemy activity, you get like some message saying like a messenger reaches you, enemies have been scouted, and you're like, oh shit, like just that little bit of like heads up could make kind of turn the whole game into a dynamic battleground kind of thing.
Exactly. You're adding a strategy layer to the game, not just a tactical.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is sick. And OpenWire is saying here, so just keeping ABR, HT, LB Fort, and Warren's Pop can make a lot for spicy PK moments. That is super true. Super true. I know we teased in the Discord that Rohan was coming out, and it absolutely is, not to our best knowledge. So just
wait, it is or is not?
Is not. Is not. It is not coming out to our best knowledge. To our best knowledge.
Going off the rails.
Just making that clear.
That's good.
Make that clear. As fun as that would be, but no. Although I would love to hear you guys' speculation on what you think the next what they're working on right now.
I don't know, but I think it'd be really cool someday to be able to travel to Lake Town and the Lonely Mountain, and that would be a lot of fun if it ever gets out that far.
Lonely Mountain, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that the next thing they probably do. I mean, this is just a guess, but I would imagine, since they seem to be going sort of south with Dol Guldur, I imagine the next thing they would come out with would be the actual layer of the Necromancer.
We should have a
poll.
Yeah, what are those? Those betting websites like that figure out like who's gonna win the election or whatever. We should do one of those for MUME. Like what the next change is gonna be that gets everyone going.
So my take on this, honestly, is whatever they're doing, I hope they're not afraid to just have big open, like pass-through zones.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the game's actually better when you have some pass-through zones. I really do. I think it's okay. I know Rogan is like pretty strongly opposed to that, as he shared at length on the pod. But to me, like when every single zone is very complicated and has like a shit ton of stuff going on, honestly, for me as a player, I don't know if others, maybe I'm just getting old, it's difficult for me to keep track of it, and it's difficult for me to like learn a region, like a super area. It's difficult for me to like learn Road to Fornost or ABR now, because just so much going on. Like it's tough to like kind of keep in my mind like the overall kind of geographic theme. Yeah, so I honestly, I do not think it detracts from the game if like you have some open roads and some open field zones that players just cruise through. I think that's okay, but I don't know.
Maybe cruising can be fun sometimes. That's part of it,
Yeah. I struggle to wrap my head around, like when it's like super complicated zones, I struggle to wrap my head around it.
Gorok says Terran will love Rohan. So many fields, he heard.
Great, baby.
Also, Gorok's saying that if Rohan is definitely coming, he heard. So, whoever this Gorok fellow may be, maybe he knows something. Whoever he may be. I'm not currently involved in anything, so I don't really know what's going on. But when did the last update came out? Was that a year ago?
MUME 9, dude. That was like in the fall, like November, maybe. I think.
Yeah,
I
so
think it was
we're about a
November.
year, so we should be coming. Not saying that I have no idea what the production pace is here or anything, or not saying people who should be are working here since we're not working on anything. But traditionally, it's like every like year, every 2 years, every year. That's when a new thing usually comes out. So I think we're not too far off. I would assume from something.
I think they should just say, "Here's 5 new gyms that do totally wacky shit. They'll all disappear in 90 days. Have fun." That's what I think.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. Did they ever finish the races? The
No, they did not.
subclasses?
Half elf, sagas, I think are untouched, and I think Noldo is just not yet. So
They did like a
Noldo's
half
got
thing.
one. Yeah, yeah, they have detect magic. So Noldos have detect
That's pretty
magic,
game
which is
breaking
pretty
right there.
cool.
I don't know about you, man. That's.
Damn. I'm gonna quit.
I think that should be done.
I was able to free up my one practice in detect magic. Ooh. It's like it gave me a free prac.
Yes, but I think Noldos are partial, and I think half elves and zogs have not been touched. I think that's it. I believe that's it. Yeah, but it's not done yet.
Did they ever do anything else with trolls? I know they did. They did like 2 partial things. Did they ever?
No,
Was that the
they
finish
did a lot
or?
with trolls, dude. They did. I mean, is it cave trolls that get the hit point regen?
And then mountain trolls have the swing attack or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I can't remember what hill trolls have the ability. They can like hide in the ground. They can like dig something like that. I can't remember. But they're good. I actually, and I think they've tweaked them. They've like rebalanced those over the like. I think I saw that like.
Oh, the battering ram updates. Yeah, I remember that now.
There we
Yeah,
go. The battering ram.
yeah. Oh man, I wonder has a troll touched the battering ram since then? That's what I want to know.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So I kind of feel like the player community feels like the troll racials were probably the best. Dude, we fucked up. We totally missed. The level rebalance makes troll super fun. It is like you can get a
my
troll.
god, yeah.
You can get a hero troll so fast now. Yeah, I totally neglected to mention
That is, yeah. I'll bet you just cruising through.
Trolls just crush levels now. Getting to heroish troll is like super fast now, which is cool. So I feel like between the racials and the level change, I think trolls really kind of got a lot of love.
Hill troll burrows are super fun. So I know the not to get too deep here, but I know what the initial is it mountain trolls that have that flail attack? Is that trolls?
Wild swing or whatever.
Did that ever get buffed? Because I heard because last time we talked about it, it was kind of underwhelming.
They did. There was some when I read through all the news this morning. There was some like it got slightly buffed, I think, but I believe the general player consensus is it does not happen frequently or predictably enough to like really use it. It's just sort of like
just there. It's like the gem attack on Scepter kind of a thing.
Yeah. Like it's cool when it happens, but
some ambience and a bit of spice. But it's
not a real mechanic. Gorwok is saying that trolls need a shortcut to Rohan, which is so true. So true. They should use those worms from The Hobbit. You know what I'm talking about? That like burrowed the tunnels so the goblins could go through to get to the Lonely Mountain.
From the
forgot about that.
That'd be pretty dope.
Damn. So there's lore for like essentially like massive cross-continental tunneling. Wow, shit.
Fast travel. Goblin fast travel.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Mountain trolls also open delayed doors faster. Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Wow, yeah, the trolls did get a lot of love.
The trolls did. I think trolls are actually really. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny the race that I feel like kind of got the shaft is the Tarks, which is the race that all of the most diehard players play.
Yeah.
Like the players that complain the most is exactly the race that got the lead.
What were the changes again?
It's like trivial shit, dude. I can't even think of it. It's like very underwhelming, I think.
I honestly can't, because the Maruk got like the tracking thing,
Yeah. I know. And Maroc wargs can swim and climb, which is
which is
huge.
just huge. That's just
Yeah. But like,
insane.
what was what was Darknop? I'm trying to find
Is it
it.
like it's
I
some
can't remember a single
mana
one.
regen or something? I don't know.
I can't remember a single
It's
one.
probably let me do help. Help Tark.
Can't remember a single.
They can mix herblores better. And they have like a raised dead mana regeneration thing. And countering fighting the free people will cause bloodlust and temporarily increase their offensive bonus. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yes, they can mix drots. Okay. Gotcha. That's not. I mean, it's
Well, I feel like it doesn't change how they play, right?
yeah.
Like
They were the only ones to mix drots anyway. And
troll burrows, really cool. Trolls can completely like it dramatically changes the experience of playing trolls. Morax being able to take their wargs, climbing and swimming, I think changes the way that they play. I think Rohir having plus 25% ride in my experimentation that dramatically increases Rohir mobility, which is cool. I don't know if any of these like really change how you play as a Dark Knob.
so they still need to work on Zog and half elves. It sounds like
Half elf, I think.
yeah, but I'm sure they're. I mean, again, it's not, at least on my part. I'm not doing shit, so I can't say anything. But I'm sure they're task saturated with something going on right now. Do you know what kind of builders have been active recently?
I have no clue myself. No clue.
I don't know either. I've logged on a
Yeah,
couple
I haven't
times.
logged in God in a very long time.
I know Jahara is still pretty active. Alunian I've seen him on quite a bit. Elamir might be on behind the scenes. He tends to be invisible a lot, so who knows. I haven't seen a ton of builders though, so I'm not sure who's really
I think they're grinding,
doing
man.
the grunt work here.
I heard like various whispers, just most like I don't know any specifics, but I think people are like excited. Like I've seen people be like pumped and like motivated and enthusiastic about whatever they're building. So shout out them. Like I'm excited to see what they come through.
I'd love to get some specific names so we can shout them out here.
It definitely seems that they got like they're cruising now. Like the building is cranking out from a sheer volume standpoint. I think they're pumping.
They're moving it. Well, great, man. I see. This is the cool part. I gotta say, Rohan probably involves at least 10 people. It's a huge place. You know, Gorwok, when Rohan doesn't come out, people are gonna be really disappointed after this podcast. I'm just saying. So maybe that's that should be the next thing. But yeah, man, I gotta say, we probably have to be wrapping up here before too long. But the every time we do one of these podcasts, man, I don't know, it just it makes me want to. Now I want to. So I legitimately think the next thing I'm probably gonna do is level up a troll because I want to try these level changes out here, and maybe I never did the burrow thing with the hill troll, so I'm gonna have to try that. But was there anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up?
Good to do another episode. Maybe we can do this like once a month or something.
Yeah, actually, so we didn't have a guest on today. Today was kind of just a come back and chat about it, have some fun. I was talking
pretty spontaneous.
Yeah, it happened a little bit last minute. So again, I didn't really want to do a guest for this one. But I have been talking to one person, which I think would be really interesting to have them on. They're not confirmed yet, so I'm not gonna confirm that. But I would like to do another one before too long, just because I genuinely think that would be a pretty interesting conversation. So hopefully we'll get another one in before long. But thanks to everyone for tuning in today. This is a lot of fun. I'm always glad to see the game is still not only kicking but thriving. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. We'll see.
Thank you, dudes. Thank you, everybody who tuned in for the chat. Thank you, guys.
Take it easy. All.